everyone, my name is Bustier. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, you're in the right place and you're welcome. Please make sure you subscribe, and for others, you can still check if you are subscribed to the channel so as not to miss out on any of our tutorials. Then you will see a tiny bell, just tap on it. It helps you get notification each time we put up a video. Tutorial will be on how to sew in your boning to your bustier top. It could be with cups or without cups. I'm going to show you, especially with a contrasting material, this recent trendy version. I'm going to show you how to do that. Though there are different types of boning, but the boning I'll be making use of today is the regular boning, which you can sew directly on, especially when you are sewing with a contrasting material like what I have on. So this is what it looks like. I think I've had this for over 3 years now. So it depends on the body you have, especially when you are working with wedding dresses and all that. It is so nice. So you can just sew directly on it without any hiccup. So I'm going to be showing you step by step on how to make this, and trust me, it is very, very easy, as I've always said. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Lucky Signatures, and on Facebook, Sewing Innovation. Our tools are available: the hip cuff, hand cuff, handhold cuff, straight ruler, seam ripper, thread cutter, and so on, as well as our online classes we have every month, detailed tutorials. Yes, let's get started. This is what I'm working with now. I'm using a lace, but when you are making yours, make sure you use a beautiful soft lace. But since this is a tutorial and we are less concerned about the material but what we need to gain, I just decided to use this. So what I did was to just open up the pattern we made on my last video, just to cut this out. So looking at it, this is what we have. Then you might have been wondering, how do we line it up? It's being lined up with a tool. Can you see that? You use a tool to line it up. So you have to just do what? You have to cut it exactly the same way you cut out the main fabric. So this is what it's going to look like. So it looks all lacy and beautiful. So this is what I have now. So now seam allowance has been added to this part. You can decide not to even open up the middle panel if you want, but I have added ½ inch seam allowance to all the panels except the side, which I added 1 inch. So what is the first step to do now? Before I continue, this is the type of boning I'm making use of. Can you see that? So this is the regular boning, it's written on it. So that is it. So you can sew directly on it. So that's the beauty of it. I think I got this in Kuwait about 3 years ago. Yeah. Especially in wedding dresses, it comes out nice. So I'll be using this fabric. Though when making yours, make sure the shade is closer to the fabric you are using. But this is a tutorial and we want visibility, so that doesn't matter. So I'll be making use of this. But the first thing we need to do now is to take in all our seam allowances. Note, because I'm having tool as the lining now, you will be sewing your seam allowance on the right side. Yes, because we'll be using this to cover it up. So what I'll do now is to take to my sewing machine now. Can you see? So wrong side will be facing each other with the tool all intact. Then I'm going to take in ½ inch on the outside. Then this way, ½ inch on the outside. So I'll go do that, then come back. Now I've sewn everything up. Can you see that? So on the wrong side, this is what it looks like. Can you see how beautiful it looks? So what I'm going to do now is this. Before sewing in the boning, I will have to trim this off to like ½ inch. When trimming off, be careful so as not to cut through the seam. Can you see that? So can you see what it looks like now? So it is so tiny, which will be fine. That's because of the boning. So what I will do now is to trim these two sides too. I've trimmed it all up, so I'm impressed with what I have here now. So you can always press your outfit with a loop-on higher. So what I will do now next is to cut out a strip of fabric. This is a width of 1½ inches. Then make sure the length is the same thing with this, though you add to this part and this part, so that will be three. So I want to confirm. So looking at it now, the length is okay. Can you see the length is okay? Just that I have a little excess, but I'll just leave that for now. I'll just leave that because you don't want it to be exact, especially because it's a lace material. So now, since I have the desired length now, what I will do next is to just cut out this boning and make sure you leave about ½ an inch at both ends. Why? Because when you want to attach it to your cups and even to the lower part, when you want to attach maybe your elastic trimmings anyhow, or to attach it to your skirts, it totally depends on what you want to make. So now, looking at this, since I have this desired length, I have to check it out. So that means I will have to trim this off by ½ an inch on both sides. Check on it again. Okay, that's good. What I have is okay now. Let me trim just a little. Okay, that's good. So now you need to determine the right side and the wrong side. Now this is the right side, this is the wrong side of this material, but I will be sewing on the right side. So what I'm going to do now is to place it on the right side, as I've said, about ½ inch away. Can you see the way I did that? Then I'll take to the sewing machine, then sew on this edge, just the edge, not in the middle, the edge of the boning now. Just sew straight down on this. Don't forget the ½ inch at the upper part, ½ inch at the lower part. So let me just do that and bring it to you for the next step. It has been sewn now. Remember, this is the right side of the fabric, so it has been sewn. This is the wrong side. So what I will have to do now is to open it up this way. Can you see that? All through. As you are sewing, you will adjust with your fingers. So the next thing now is this. I will turn this in. Can you see the way I turned it in? Then fold a little over, then flip it over. Can you see? So this is what we want to achieve. A very nice, neat finishing. So this edge now, there's no boning here, so this will be for the seam allowance. Can you see that? So as you are sewing it up, you keep adjusting it. Hope you've seen the way I did that now. Then I'll take the fabric now. Can you see this? Let me turn it this way for better visibility. So now I'll now have to sew this up along with this on the seam allowance. Here you need to take your time. That's why I'm taking my time to explain. So now, if you are sewing, that was why I told you to trim this to like ½ inch, very close to the seam, because you need to place this in the middle to be able to align. After doing that, so can you see? So make sure you take your time. So as you are sewing it up, you adjust it so it will be in the middle. Can you see that? You keep adjusting with your fingers so it will be in the middle. Can you see that? So that's how you keep adjusting. So now when I get to my sewing machine now, I will now have to sew on this edge. This edge, remember, after folding it, you placed it to match the lower part. So you will now have to sew it all down. So you keep taking your time to sew it all down on the seam allowance, because you have to cover up the seam allowance. So I'll just do this first edge, show you what it looks like before we move on. I've sewn it and it looks beautiful already. So this is it. I've sewn one side. You can see how beautiful and neat it looks. Can you see a closer look to that? So beautiful. So now the boning gives it rigidity. So by the time you put it on, it makes it shapeful. So the next thing I'm going to do now is this. Make sure all the seam allowance are inside. So beautiful already. So what I'm going to do now is to take it to the sewing machine again and then sew on this edge. We've sewn on this edge. close to this edge, straight down. Make sure all the seam allowers are inside, straight down. Looking at it is beautiful. Looking at it now, I've sewn the other edge. You can see how beautiful it looks. So the boning gives it stability, unlike before it was just a little bit rumpled. But looking at it now, there's more stability on the top. You can see how good it looks. On the wrong side, this is what I have. Can you see how beautiful it looks? So that is the trick of sewing a boning to your bustier top. You can see it's so nice. So what I'll do now is this. I've gotten the next one. I've measured it out. I've measured the fabric. So I'll just do one more for you to see how it looks again before we round it up. So looking at it now, I've sewn one other boning to it. You can see how beautiful it looks. So that is just it on how to sew in your wedding boning. It's stress-free. Look at it on the wrong side, how beautiful it looks. So hope my tutorial has been helpful. If it has, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. As I've said, the key signature. For your tools and online classes, get in touch with us. I'll put the contact number in the description box below. I have to go now. Bye.